3 armed men stormed onto my ranch, waving guns, screaming that I was under arrest. But the second I looked at them, I knew something wasn't right. Their badges didn't match, their uniforms didn't fit, and their eyes, they screamed fear, not authority. They weren't cops, they were imposters. And the moment they set foot on my land, they made the deadliest mistake of their lives. Because I'm not just some retiree living out his days in peace. I'm the former Attorney General of Texas. And I've spent my entire career putting criminals like them behind bars. It started like any other peaceful morning. I was watering Clara's roses, the ones we planted before she passed. The sun was warming the Texas dirt, cattle lowed in the distance, and for a moment, life felt calm again. But my gut told me otherwise. For the past 3 days, a black SUV had been parked across from my gate. Every morning, 7 a.m. sharp, it sat there, engine off, tinted windows hiding whoever was inside. By 5 p.m., it disappeared. My instincts, honed over 30 years in law and justice, told me surveillance was underway. I made a note to mention it to my old friend, Sheriff Tom. But before I could, the storm hit. The front gate creaked open. 3 men in mismatched security uniforms strutted up my driveway like they owned the place. One, a buzzcut with mirrored sunglasses, flashed a shiny badge and barked, "You're under arrest for multiple HOA violations." My grip tightened on the watering can. Arrested? For a fence and an oak tree? Their voices cracked with forced authority. And in that instant, I knew this wasn't law. This was theater. And I was the audience they never wanted. The leader waved his gun. Fence placement. Overgrown oak. Community standards. We have authority. I almost laughed. Authority? I'd signed more real warrants than this man had hot dinners. Still, I kept calm. Fear is fuel for people like this. "Gentlemen," I said, setting down the can, pulling out my phone. "Before you take another step, show me your licensing. The documentation that says you have the right to arrest me." The buzzcut stiffened. His hand went for papers that didn't exist. His 2 companions shuffled like nervous schoolboys. I hit record on my phone. Their fake confidence cracked. "You've got 60 seconds, I said evenly, "to tell me who hired you. Impersonating law enforcement in Texas is a felony. Add trespassing with a weapon, and you're looking at prison time." They faltered, tried one last bluff. "We're acting under HOA authority." That made me chuckle. "Son, an HOA can tell you to mow your grass. They can't arrest you. Want to test that theory in court?" Their bravado crumbled. Within minutes, they bolted for their SUV. As dust kicked up down the road, I spotted a figure watching from an upstairs window. Brenda Whitaker, the HOA president. And now, my number 1 suspect. Sheriff Tom arrived fast. He'd seen my video, shook his head. "Nathan, those weren't cops. They weren't even licensed guards. Someone's playing dangerous games." I didn't need guessing. Brenda Whitaker, HOA queen, had been itching to push me off this land. I walked the property. That's when I saw it, tucked in the branches of the very oak tree they accused me over. A listening device. Freshly planted. Brenda hadn't just sent fake cops. She'd been spying. That afternoon, a notice appeared on my door. HOA fine, $5,000. Legal-looking language, case numbers, deadlines. It looked official, until I read it. The font was wrong. The citations? Half didn't exist. The rest twisted so badly, they meant the opposite. And the signature? Community Standards Enforcement Officer. That's not a title recognized anywhere in Texas law. This wasn't just harassment. This was fraud. I preserved every shred of evidence. 30 years as Attorney General had taught me one thing. Bullies fold when you shine a light on their tactics. But Brenda wasn't just a bully. She was building a machine. And I had a sickening suspicion this was only the beginning. The monthly HOA meeting was packed. Normally, 15 residents showed up. This time, 50 crammed into the community hall. Brenda sat at the front, smug as a cat, flanked by her allies. She opened strong, voice dripping triumph. Neighbors, this man refuses to respect our community. He endangers property values. He believes he's above the law. Murmurs rose. People glanced at me like I was on trial. When she finished, I stood, calm, collected, and with one click, my phone synced to the projector. On the wall appeared her fake $5,000 notice. Let's look closer, I said. Line by line, I dismantled it. Wrong statutes. Fake signatures. Flawed formatting. Gasps rippled through the crowd. This, I said, is fraud. And it's a crime. For the first time, I saw doubt flicker in my neighbor's eyes. Brenda leapt to her feet, face red. He's intimidating you with legal jargon. Don't listen to him. Chaos erupted. Neighbors argued. Voices clashed. I gathered my things, but as I stepped toward the exit, I heard it. Behind me, near Brenda's table. A metallic click. Subtle, but deliberate. Whatever Brenda was planning next, it wasn't just paperwork. It was war. By dawn, the internet had turned against me. Brenda posted photos, doctored shots of my ranch, making Clara's roses look like weeds, our custom oak fence crooked and broken. Her caption? This man is destroying our community. Hundreds shared it. Strangers from Dallas and Houston piled on. By breakfast, a local news van parked outside my gate. The reporter shoved a mic in my face. Are you intimidating your neighbors with legal threats, Mr. Caldwell? Is it true you're abusing your power as a former attorney general? I stayed calm. I'm protecting my property. From fraud. From harassment. But I knew this wasn't journalism. This was theater scripted by Brenda. That evening, while walking the property, I saw them, professional-grade surveillance cameras mounted on utility poles, aimed at my home. Not HOA cameras. These were military-grade. When I confronted Brenda at the grocery store, she smirked. If you're not guilty, you won't mind being watched. Her words chilled me. She wasn't just targeting me. She was building a case, twisting perception, manipulating reality. And in small-town Texas, reputation is everything. Neighbors who once waved now crossed the street. Friends stopped calling. Brenda's lies were working. And I was running out of allies. But I wasn't alone. My friend Leah, who ran the coffee shop, came storming into my kitchen with her laptop. Nathan, I dug into the HOA records. You won't believe this. Emails. Transfers. Receipts. HOA funds had been siphoned to pay for surveillance equipment, consultations, and yes, even those fake guards. And worse, the money trail led straight to a development company. Their plan? Force homeowners out, buy properties cheap, redevelop, and profit. My ranch was prime real estate. Brenda was their pawn, and her prize was political power. We struck back. At the county fair, while Brenda paraded with her Community First protesters, I set up a small table by the food vendors. On it, every shred of evidence. Fake fines. Surveillance photos. Fraudulent transfers. Crowds swarmed. People snapped photos, asked questions. Even her own allies looked shaken. Brenda marched over, cameras trailing. This is intimidation, she screamed. He's manipulating you with fake documents. But then someone asked her directly, why did the HOA pay $10,000 to a private security company? Her answer fumbled. Complex finances, you wouldn't understand. Phones caught it all. The tide was turning. But Brenda wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Sheriff Tom called at dawn. Nathan, my sources say Brenda hired muscle. Tonight, they hit your ranch. So, we set the trap. I left lights on, loaded luggage into my truck, and drove off, only to circle back on foot, hiding upstairs in Clara's old sewing room. At 2 a.m., a van rolled in. 3 men poured out, efficient, professional. They trashed the roses, ripped down our fence, scarred the oak tree. To the untrained eye, it looked like neglect. To my cameras, it looked like evidence. Minutes later, Brenda's car arrived, Howard beside her, news crew in tow. She strutted into my ruined garden, feigning shock. "Oh, Nathan. What a disgrace. Look what is done to our community." That's when I stepped out. "Funny timing, Brenda. Damage done 20 minutes ago. And you're here with cameras." Her face drained. I played recordings, her bragging about forcing me out, her deals with developers. Howard broke under pressure, admitting his role in her scheme. The sheriff's cruisers pulled in. Handcuffs snapped. Brenda was finished, charged with fraud, racketeering, conspiracy. That night, neighbors gathered for a barbecue. They apologized, thanked me, asked me to run for HOA president. I looked at Clara's photo and smiled. Justice had been served.